help me. No, not again. That day, I wished I hadn't been born. My name is Emily, and this story is about the night that taught me I should never celebrate another birthday again. I opened my eyes a little after 9 a.m. A pale light was seeping through the grey curtains. The air felt heavy. It was going to rain, but it was supposed to be a special day. My 27th birthday. Have you ever experienced something terrifying on your birthday? We always expect birthdays to be joyful, don't we? I used to love them, especially as a woman. Let's just say, I never lacked attention on my birthday. I used to celebrate with fireworks at my grandfather's farm. Those days are long gone. We don't always get the life we hope for, do we? So this year, I wanted something simple. Just a few close friends, a small cake, some music, a dimly lit house, that's all. But nothing, absolutely nothing, went as planned. The rain had already started. The house was too quiet. When I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror, something felt off. My eyes were glassy, lifeless. Was I awake? Or still trapped in a dream? As I dried my hair, a strange weight pressed on my chest, like something or someone was going to follow me all day. I began preparing for the party. Just a few cookies, some mini pies. But the most important thing was the old box in the attic. The birthday box. It was from my mother. Every year, she decorated it just for me. The last time she gave it to me, I was 10. The day after, my mom didn't wake up. Inside the box, there was only a faded birthday hat and a note. Today is Emily's day. Only open this box when you're alone. Now I felt a chill down my spine, because when I read it, I wasn't alone. I opened the front door. Someone was standing there. He had a face, but not one I recognized, and yet it felt familiar, like a forgotten memory, trying to return. He simply said, "I'm home." No name, no explanation. He walked inside like he belonged. Then, more people came, one after another. But these weren't my friends. Have you ever seen a face in a dream and then couldn't forget it? That's what this felt like. Except I was awake, or I thought I was. When I brought out the cake, I noticed the candles were already lit. But I hadn't used a match or a lighter. The flames didn't glow, they flickered like graveyard lanterns. They burned, but gave no light. There was no music, no one spoke. They all just sat there, watching me, like they weren't waiting for a birthday, but for a funeral. Then I heard it, a soft whisper from the back room, calling my name. "Emily, come upstairs, there's a celebration." It was my mother's voice. My feet moved on their own, step by creaking step. "Happy birthday, Emily. We miss you." The door was slightly open. Inside the room, a little girl sat alone in the center. She was wearing a dress I hadn't seen in years, a ribbon in her hair. It was me, my 10-year-old self. She smiled at me, but her eyes were pitch black, empty, like the bottom of a well. I stayed in that room, listening to her whisper. "You never left, Emily. You're always here, every birthday. You'd think you're dreaming, but you always come back. The box, it calls you." I had been here before, again and again, celebrating the same birthday, opening the same box, summoning the same strange faces. I wasn't awake. I was sleepwalking, caught in a loop. When I finally came downstairs, the house was empty, the cake table flipped, cookies scattered on the floor, no missed calls, no messages. But in the mirror, I was wearing the birthday hat, and there was blood on it. Today I'm telling you this story because my birthday is coming up again, and the box is still in the attic. Should I open it again this year, What do you think? Hey, Connies. My name is Claire. And my hands are still shaking as I write this, because my birthday is coming up. Again, sometimes silence can cut deeper than a scream. And for me, that silence started on the morning of my birthday. When I opened my eyes, even the light coming through the window felt cold. The ceiling was grey, the walls were grey, and my heart felt completely hollow. It was the same morning I've had every year. But this time, something was different. I woke up with a thought that didn't belong to me. Today, everyone will remember you, Claire. Have you ever woken up with a thought that wasn't yours? What was it? Life gives us hope. But sometimes, you open it up, expecting something, and find nothing. No backup plan. Just silence. Just struggle. When I walked into the kitchen, there was no sound. Except the hum of the fridge. No birds, no traffic, not even the ticking of the clock. This wasn't just silence. This house had been silenced. On the kitchen table, my mom's old recipe book was open. It was turned to a page with a cake recipe. But something was off. In fresh ink it said, "For Claire. This recipe is made only once." But my mom had been dead for 3 years. Outside, the sky was like lead, and not hot, not cold, just still. There was only one envelope in the mailbox, no return address. Inside were just 3 words. "Don't blow, Claire." I froze. But oddly, I felt calm, like I had received this letter before, like I had seen it during one of my sleepwalking episodes. If you got a letter like that, would you open it? And what would you expect to find? I tried decorating the house, but nothing worked. The balloons wouldn't float, and when I held them up, I could hear faint whispers inside. "Happy birthday, Claire. Here we are again. Let's move on to the cake. Let's start again." I wasn't imagining it, because when I stepped into the living room, I saw the aftermath of a gathering. The couch cushions were sunken in, as if people had been sitting there. The teacups had been used, but I was alone. Or was I? Someone had been here. The curtains looked disturbed, like they'd been opened by someone else. I live with a nosy landlord who checks in often. She's clueless, bless her, but I swear, if she walked in at that moment, she'd think I'd thrown a wild party. But I hadn't even ordered the cake this year. Still, when I opened the oven, there it was. A warm birthday cake, white icing, 1 candle, 1 name, Claire. Before I even touched it, I felt something tighten in my throat. It wasn't fear in my stomach. It was resistance in my chest. A voice, deep and old, seemed to say, "Don't do it." But I still wanted to light the candle. I wanted just one normal moment. The second I struck the match, the power went out. I sat in the dark. The only light came from the candle. That's when I saw it. A shadow moved. It wasn't mine. A long, thin silhouette stretched up the wall. Then another appeared, and another. 3, 4, 5. I stopped counting. I wasn't alone anymore. But these weren't friends. They weren't family. They had faces, but no names. They just stood there. They were watching me. What would you do if a room full of strangers stared at you without saying a word? I did nothing. I just sat there, and then the candle lit itself. The flame was black, the smoke white. Everyone in the room clapped at the same time, but it made no sound. Only their hands moved. Then a voice said, "Now blow, Claire." But the letter had told me not to. What was happening? I was terrified, on edge, ready to scream. I wanted to run, to burn the whole place down. But I didn't blow. Someone else did. I felt it. A breath on the back of my neck. Cold, rotten, ancient. The candle went out. The house disappeared. When I opened my eyes, I was in a cemetery. In my hands, a cake box. My mother's name was written on it. For Claire. Come back every year. I'm telling you this now because my birthday is coming again. But this year, something changed. The box, it opened by itself. If you had to relive the same nightmare every year on your birthday, what would you do? My name is Rachel, and I believe some people would love to get their past back as a birthday gift. But some past hold things that should never be awakened. When I opened my eyes, the room was soaked in a pale, quiet light. The curtains were half drawn. The sky outside was grey. As I sat up, I felt more than just exhaustion on my shoulders. Today was my birthday. But there was no joy, no excitement, just a strange unease pressing into my chest. Have you ever felt unsettled on your birthday? Can you explain why? I always expected my birthday to be about me, all eyes on Rachel. Gifts, attention, admiration. I mean, I was born this day. Me, a masterpiece. But this year, it felt like even the mirrors didn't care. And worse. Even the gas in my stomach wasn't helping. Not even burping relieved the pressure. Okay, that part's just me venting. Let's get back. Down in the kitchen, the coffee machine light was on. But I was sure I had unplugged it the night before. I hadn't made any coffee. I just stood there, staring out the window. There was no wind. No birds. No sound at all. When I picked up my cup, I noticed my hand was trembling. This wasn't just insomnia. Something was coming. I hadn't gone up to the attic in years, but this morning, it felt like something was calling me. Each creak on the wooden stairs echoed louder than it should have. Dust floated in the beams of light like falling ash. In the far corner, the box. My mother's final birthday gift, still there. On the lid was a note. Open only on your birthday. And never alone. I didn't open it, but even then, I felt as if someone, or something, was looking at me through it. Would you open a mysterious box if you were completely alone? What do you think you'd find? This year I wanted change, so I invited a few people. Oliver, Julia, Mike. Old college friends I hadn't seen in years. It felt right to reconnect. When I checked the group message, all three had replied at the exact same time. We can't wait to come. But I didn't remember sending the invitation. The doorbell rang. Julia was first. She looked at me like I had never left, like she'd always been waiting. Happy birthday, Rachel, she said. We haven't forgotten you. Then came Oliver, then Mike, all of them. Had the same dark eyes, jet black, wet, almost unreal. I didn't make a cake. But there it was, in the center of the kitchen table. Red velvet, white icing, a big 27 on top, and a note written in unfamiliar handwriting. Here we go for the 27th time. Remember this one, Rachel? The party began, but there was no music, no laughter, no conversation. We just sat, as if waiting for something. Then the lights flickered once, and when I blinked, a memory rushed in. My 7th birthday. My mother fell while bringing the cake. Cream splattered everywhere. But I didn't cry. Because when the cake hit the floor, the candles went out. And in that silence, a voice whispered from the next room, "Birthdays summon the spirits, Rachel. Do you think some memories are just waiting for the exact moment to return?" That day came back to me like a hidden file opening in my mind, like something ancient being unlocked. A door in the back of the house creaked open, a door that should have been locked. I heard whispers, footsteps, breathing. The 3 guests stood at once, and in unison they said, "Now is the time. You must enter the room before the candles go out." I opened the door. It was dimly lit, flickering candles all around. In every corner of the room, there was a version of me. 7-year-old me, 13, 19, and in the center, me today, in a white dress, eyes closed, still. I was watching myself from the outside. Then all the Rachels opened their eyes and said together, "It's your turn to wake up, Rachel." The past remembers you. The door slammed shut. The whispers got louder. The walls began to close in. From outside, I heard Julia. "Come on, Rachel. Blow out the candles. This celebration is for you." But I knew the truth. I was part of a cycle. The same birthday. Every year. Same cake, same faces, same question. Will you wake up this year? Or will you stay? What would you do if you were forced to relive the same nightmare year after year? When I opened my eyes, I was living this morning again. But this time, the box in the attic was already open. And inside was a final note. "We won't call you every year anymore, Rachel. This year, it's your turn. My name is Lily, and I know this birthday could be my last." Some days don't just mark time. They push you out of it. Even if you feel alive, you've already started slipping away. The first thing I felt when I woke up was emptiness. The room was still dark, but the dim blue light creeping through the window whispered morning had just begun. I sat on the edge of the bed. My feet sank into the soft carpet. Normally, birthdays bring joy. But not this year. Something inside me felt broken, crushed. I looked at my watch. 7:09. No messages, no missed calls, no birthday wishes. Have you ever felt more hurt by being remembered than by being forgotten? I didn't eat breakfast. I wasn't hungry. There was something stuck in my throat, a weight I couldn't swallow. When I stepped into the kitchen, I noticed the chairs were out of place. Subtle, but wrong. It felt like someone had been there and would be again. Soon, my eyes drifted toward the attic. That old hatch. As a child, I was never allowed up there. My mom used to say, "Some boxes are older than cake, Lily, and some gifts should never be opened." That morning, the hatch was open. The stairs creaked under my feet. Dust hung in the air, suspended like it had waited all this time just for me. And there it was. My mother's birthday box. Not wooden, but metal. A rusted lock sealed it shut, and on the surface, a note written in a child's shaky hand. "Happy birthday, Lily. The countdown has begun." I didn't remember what was inside, but somehow it had already started. It felt like a memory I didn't own, like something I had opened while sleepwalking. This year, I planned to keep things simple. The party would be at home. James, Anna, Leo, 3 old friends. I sent out a message the night before, but the responses I got, "This year is going to be special." All 3. The exact same sentence, at the exact same time. It didn't feel right. Have you ever received messages that didn't feel like they came from your friends, but from something else? At exactly 3 p.m., there was a knock. James stood at the door. He looked like himself, but there was nothing behind his eyes, like a puppet waiting for strings to move. "Happy birthday, Lily," he said. He was holding a cake. I hadn't ordered a cake. But there it was, perfectly made, frosted, red velvet, and written across the top, 3, 2 dots, 1 dot, dot, dot. I hadn't lit the candles, but they were already burning. Then Anna and Leo arrived, wearing the same outfit as James. Black sweater, grey pants, smiling with their lips, but not with their eyes. They didn't speak, they didn't move, they just watched me. And then a voice whispered from nowhere, "Today is your 27th birthday. Same number, same night, same repetition." Had I lived this before? Suddenly, I blacked out, not fainted. I was floating. I saw myself, my body, from below. Have you ever felt completely out of yourself, like your soul was watching? Then at midnight, the candles went out, the room turned to black. James, Anna, and Leo stood up together. Leo spoke first. "It's your turn, Anna. You didn't blow it out. That means you were chosen. James, if you wake up now, you won't remember anything." Suddenly, I woke up. Same bed, same room, 709, everything was the same. Except one thing. The box in the attic was gone, and on my bedside table, a slice of cake with a single note. "Now, someone else is counting down. If you became part of someone else's nightmare, how would you wake up